All right. Hi, everyone. So earlier today, we had the 9th edition of the Artist Living Room. But because a few of us couldn't be there, but could make it now, I decided to hold a second part of this Artist Living Room featuring some of the other concert artists who didn't manage to make it today. And so today we have Farah from Singapore, Maynard from Singapore, and also Femi and Rasheed from Nigeria, which is a part of the world I have never been to before. So I will be giving each of them some time to introduce themselves, what they do, where they're from, and then later on I will be asking them to share their thoughts on the theme of our project, which is Embracing the Shadow. So why don't we begin with Farah, since you've been part of the May project as well, and yeah, so just tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and your thoughts on the project if you want to add some of that. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Farah, and I'm from Singapore. I'm a dancer, choreographer, fitness instructor, and I've been dancing commercially in Singapore for about 18 years, so you can guess my age. Okay. So I've been part of this Metamorfosize project since May, and I did the first concert, and so far it's been an amazing experience. So me coming from a ballet, contemporary, and now Brazilian Samba background, I teach Brazilian Samba and I perform it. I find it such a refreshing platform to be able to collaborate with artists from all over the world, and to be able to do it on a different platform like online. It's been challenging. It's been quite a learning journey, but it's been so good to be able to connect with everybody, and I really thank Val for putting us together because it's no easy feat. Yeah, and for this concert, I'm collaborating with artists from Nigeria, from a lot from South America as well. And yeah, a few different people. So it's going to be exciting, embracing the shadow. For me, embracing the shadow means maybe embracing your darker past, parts of yourself that most of us don't really want to connect with, being able to dive deeper into yourself and dig it out and accepting yourself and moving on as a better person. So this is what embracing the shadow for me has been so far. Yeah. And it's going to be exciting for the concert, so please watch. And shall I pass the torch on to, let's go to Femi.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Adebajo Oluwafemi from Nigeria. And majorly, I'm a traditional dance artist. That was where I grew from an academy from Nigeria, Footprint of David Art Academy. And later on, I started learning contemporary dance from the group that Metamorfosize from that academy. So we brought ourselves together. We graduated that year, we brought ourselves together, started watching video, and we started learning how to do it. Nobody taught us. So when we started doing it, some of our bosses now saw that we were doing something, then decided putting more knowledge and putting more light to what we are doing. I'm a dance artist, I'm an actor, I play a little bit of percussion, I sing. I'm a total artist, and I'm happy I'm opportune with Rasheed to be a festival director of the academy we grew from, a festival director of the Footprint of David Arts Festival last year. So at least we are moving and we are developing, and I think art is doing so many things for young people, and we are trying to push ourselves. For me, embracing the shadow. When I first heard about embracing the shadow, what came to my head first was, I remember seeing my shadow, and I will call my shadow my first angel, because when I first started growing up, I don't know anything about shadow. So when I was like 14, 15, So I started saying, when I see sun, I started saying something following me. So I say, okay, they told me this is shadows, this is shadow. So when I heard about this embracing the shadow, I think the shadow, I think for me, my shadow is weak. I am the real person. My shadow is the weaker part of me. So I think embracing the shadow means for me trying to work more on my shadow, on my weaker part. Like this, for an example, I'm weak in the acting line. For an example, I think embracing the shadow means for me to walk in that line. And I think I thought about many ways of embracing the shadow, because I thought about me as a dance artist. I need to embrace my shadow as a dance artist. A musician plays for me. I need to respect him more because it's working for me. People are seeing me dance. People are seeing me exhibit what I can do. And I am somebody somewhere giving me the music. So I think embracing the shadow means a lot to me. And I think I like the idea. Yeah. So I'm handling over the baiting to I'm handing the battle to Maynard. I went to check the name, sorry.
Hi everyone. So I'm Maynard. I have been dancing for around 5 to 6 years in the past. Took a short break because of school and work commitments. I mean, most of us that are watching this, I'm pretty sure you're in work and everything. So life caught up, stopped dancing for a while, then started back. So I was doing street jazz and more hip hop and some MTV dances, and then now moving into pole. So doing some pole dances around 1 to 2 years. Not very good at it, however, it's good enough, I think, and still practicing. On the side, I did some gigs for modeling, did some gigs for photo shoots, commercials, and acting. And that's about the performance side. I also run a business called The Magus, which I do spiritual things, including tarot card readings. And that's where the shadow side came up to me. So this is the first time I'm participating in this concert. When I saw the notice about the shadow side, it resonated with me because from my side, shadow, it is more of dealing with the subconscious and unconscious mind, things that you might have dealt with in the past, traumas. So most of my clients that came to me, they have issues facing with their internal struggles or trauma that they have experienced in the past. And my job here as a tarot reader or a spiritual coach will be to bring this out so that you can come into awareness of these things. And this is the shadow side because it's hidden inside deep within you that you don't even know about. So when it comes out, you can be aware. So once awareness is achieved, that's when you can branch it out to learn how to deal with it, how to cope with it, how to bring it out and remove it from your life. And that's how you change the shadow side into more of the light, I would say, because it's coming to light and you deal with it so that you have less of this trauma, less of these obstacles within you. Most of us have a lot of these obstacles blocking us from achieving success. And this is more or less due to this trauma that we have experienced. So that's my thoughts on the shadow side and about the concert. Now, Rasheed.
All right. My name is Rasheed Ridwan Adisa. I am from Nigeria. I dance, I write, I choreograph, I direct, and I'm a full lover of art. I've been dancing since the age of, let's say, 4 years old. I started with indigenous dances, and later I grew up to like the extension version of the academy, which was there for the gang, Femi and some others. We started dancing, and we saw some people, some white people, and we tried to imitate, we tried to see, and that has been helping us as a young artist around here. So me, seeing the application of embracing the shadow, I was like, embracing the shadow. Like some weeks ago, I was battling with a lot of things in my mind, and I created the short piece called Self and Shadow. So when I created this short, so because me, I work with intuition. So I don't just do things. I realize that whenever I do it unknowingly, consciously, something comes back in a way. You understand? So when I saw the application Self and Shadow, and I was like, is this real? Okay, let me give it a try. So I created that Self and Shadow because while I sit sometime or while I sleep, I receive some informations. So where does this information comes from? Who is that being as me? Who is that person receiving that information at that time? So that I need my shadow to also tell me things. You understand that physically I won't see, or physically I won't hear. I may hear physically, but or not all the time. So that's my own part of it. So I see my shadow as the one receiving the information from the spiritual and the physical for me, and I try to listen and put it into practice for my everyday life. So for me, that is what shadow is all about. When how you identify your A to Z, and you use it. So my shadow is like my A to Z, and I use it anytime I want because I listen to it always. So that's why when I created the piece, I said, listen, 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 and here you are, people in the space. You understand? So that's it. That's all about me.
Thank you for sharing that, everyone.
Is there any other person here?
No.
A person baton back to Val? Yes.
Thank you. I happily received the baton. I don't know exactly if that's pronounced correctly, but doesn't matter. You all know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so thank you for sharing your thoughts on the theme. I think it's always fascinating to see how varied there are interpretations of this theme and also of the word shadow. You know, I think over the course of having these conversations, there have been so many different ways of looking at it and ways of interpreting it, which I think makes this a really unexpectedly very rich theme. You know, I think when I started it out, I was like, well, you know, it's something to encourage people to look at the things they haven't really looked at, but then to see how it's branched out into so many things was really eye-opening. And yeah, so I thought to ask all of you, well, in some ways, I think Rasheed has already answered this question, but I was asking the group earlier that I had spoken to earlier in the day, this question, which is, how would you describe your shadow? I gave, you know, feel free to take the time to think about it, because I kind of feel it's interesting how you talk about shadow in a general sense and how you talk about the shadow when it's in relation to yourself. How would you describe your shadow? And just to get the ball rolling, something I shared earlier was about how, for me, in the context of this project, I'm noticing that if I'm allowed to be in my completely natural, well, I don't know if natural is the right word, but left to my own devices, my natural inclination is to be super lazy. And it's so funny how I end up putting myself in situations like what I'm in now, where I just cannot afford to be lazy, like at all. Like, you know, it's like I keep struggling with like, man, you know, I want to do this thing, like I want to read this book, or I want to watch this documentary, but then if I don't get this done, like, you know, it's gonna, you know, I'm gonna screw something up, like somebody's not gonna get something done. And like the moment it becomes problematic that if I don't do something, somebody else gets in trouble, that is like, yeah, like that gets me out of my laziness. and for some reason that can, like, it's like a constant struggle, like the sloth and the self, and somehow it feels kind of it feels natural to actually be doing this. So that's why I was struggling with the word natural earlier, because it's almost like being lazy is natural in one aspect, but being this way, which is completely creative and completely productive, is also very natural for me. It's very nourishing. And so and it's kind of like that voice that's like, yeah, you know, you can do this tomorrow, you can do this 3 days later, like it's fine. And then I do it 3 days later and I screw up, you know, like yeah. So just yeah, so that was my like a little bit of my answer, but I'm curious to hear, and feel free to start if anybody wants to say something. I'm not gonna point. Yeah,
I can start. I mean, shadow side, I am pretty aware in some sense about myself. Whenever projects like creative projects come in, the main thing that will pop out will be self-doubt. It will be a lot of self-doubt about whether I'm doing this right, am I doing this wrong, am I really that creative? And then the comparison will start. Oh, this person can do this, I can't do that. Oh, they can do this, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not that good. Oh no, what can I contribute? Am I really that good? Am I even belonging here? So these are the shadow thoughts that will come out. But however, like the way I deal with it is that we are all different. We all have our own talents, things to bring to the table. You don't really have to be the best of the group or the best of anything actually, as long as you're able to do your thing and be creative in your way that adds value to the theme or adds value to the group, then that's good enough. You don't have to be like the best or the cream of the crop. Because I think it's partly society which instills this thing like, oh, if you're not good at it, don't even try. You must be the best before you can try to do something. So that inflicted a lot into me as part of shadow side. Another thing is I think the fear of expressing too much, because same thing, society is like, oh, you can't express too much, people would judge you. So the fear of judgment comes in, and like, oh, I don't want to show so much of myself, I will just be a recluse, let's not talk too much. Then again, like the answer is like, why are you pressing yourself so much? Why are you hiding from the world? It's like, if you can cook, like one of my mentors told me, if you can cook very good fried rice and you eat it alone at home, no one in the world would know. You need to present it to the world so that you can share the gift, share the joy. You can't just be eating alone and like, oh, this is the best fried rice ever. Then no one would know. So what's the point? Yeah. Yep. So that's my 2 cents.
I like the fried rice example.
You're making me hungry. You gotta try your fried rice one day, Maynard.
It's like the BBC commercial, egg fried rice, don't be afraid.
What?
No, there was a commercial, not commercial, like a BBC show where she says like, egg fried rice, don't be afraid. And then she cooks the rice in the wrong way, and she pours it with the strainer. I was like, what?
And
What
all
are
the
you doing
Asians were
to
like,
rice?
that's not how you cook fried rice.
Yeah, and then Uncle Roger came in and he's like, Uncle Roger, no fried rice like that.
Yeah, I saw that one. It was funny.
I was laughing so much.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But what Maynard said resonates so much with me, because I think, having been in Singapore as well, it is a part of that culture, the competitiveness and the need to be the best, or yeah, because that is a very integral aspect of the Singapore culture, I feel, and part of the reasons why I couldn't see myself growing old there, because I felt this is so disconnected from how I wish to be. Because I prefer to collaborate than to compete. That's one thing. You know, I kind of feel like we all can be like puzzle pieces to each other and just complete each other instead of trying to overthrow each other. You know, I kind of feel like collaboration, it's so much more powerful. And this idea that you can be great, but you don't need to be beating the next person. You just need to be the better version of who you were yesterday if you want to compete with anyone. But also the fear of judgment. That was something that I also had to sort of heal. And the big part of that healing process was spending time in Berlin, because over there, like, you know, if you go to a club in Singapore, people don't really dance, at least in the last that I went. You know, people are kind of like chilling with drinks and looking pretty with heels, with like super pretty clothes, and getting drunk. And I never felt drawn to that at all. Like, I've danced in clubs, but I literally only went to dance like when I needed to perform. Like, I don't really go to actually have fun, because I don't find it fun. Like, and even then, like, even if the music feels nice, like, I feel like if I dance full out, people will be like, think I'm crazy, you know? So so this bleeds in. Yeah, Farah?
Oh, wasn't me,
You
it was
wanted to
Maynard.
say something? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, but I was gonna say that in Berlin it's completely different, because you can everyone's doing crazy things. So if you're doing crazy things, you don't stand out. It's fine. Like, people literally just like let you be crazy, and that was so freeing. Like, I didn't realize I needed to heal that until I actually went there, and that actually made a big difference in how I even approach performing. Because before that process, I was not able to place myself on stage purposely. I had to be allowed to be on stage. How do I say? If somebody else puts me on stage, like it's my job to be on stage, that's not a problem. But if I put myself on the stage, then I think, you know, people are gonna think I'm just trying to show off, or I'm trying to do with this and that and this and that. So again, it comes back to the fear of judgment. And then coming to the realization that if I expect people to judge me, that's what I'm gonna get, because I'm creating that already in my mind by doing that. So it becomes a feedback loop. But if I'm just expressing myself with love, with enjoyment of the music, and just expressing what the music was telling me to do without that fear, people love it. Like, people really love it. Like, they come up to me and they're like, oh my God, I really love watching you, da 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 da. And I never would have done that before I kind of dove into that mental block. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Maynard, because that brought up some things that that definitely a big part of my process. Yes,
Yeah,
Farah?
I mean, I agree. Like what you guys have been talking about, you know, how that shadow of doubt and all that. I feel like our shadow is always a part of us. There's no way you can get rid of the shadow. You know how Peter Pan has that story where he tries to get rid of the shadow, right? Is that Peter Pan? It is Peter Pan, right?
I know
Right? And
Peter
he
Pan, but
tries
I
to,
don't know that story.
yeah, so he tries to cut his shadow away from
yeah.
him, right? And
A
then he
man
ends up
called
sewing
God.
it back. Sorry?
A man called God. I think Peter Pan.
Yeah, it is a part of us, you know. So I feel like that shadow, whether it's self-doubt, whether it's a sordid past, you know, some trauma, like Maynard was talking about, we cannot just bury it. We have to face it. You know, we have to embrace whatever negative sides of us there is, in order to feel whole and healed, and be able to take on life fully. And like you said, you know, with the experience in Berlin, Val, how you embrace that, you know, once you embrace that, all that self-doubt, you know, you could throw away the opposite. You could throw away all the judgments that you felt against yourself and accept yourself, so that others can accept you. That is really powerful. And for me, coming into Metamorfosize, okay, even in May, I had self-doubts about coming out as a non-commercial dancer, because a lot of stuff that I do in Singapore has been very commercialized. You know, it's all about, mostly it's about like looking good and like showing people what you can do, right? And doing other people's creative work. Um, Although I've been able to be a choreographer for many projects, I haven't had the chance to really create something totally new from my own visions, right? So I had a lot of doubts as well, and like, oh my God, global artists, they all have their own names, you know, amazing stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, can I really do this? But judging from Grateful, from the first concert, that was really fun, you know, and you know, it really helped me to like dive deeper into myself. And hey, you know, like I can do this. I can be creative all over again. And now working with Rasheed for this concert, yeah, somehow, you know, we've really connected. And I have to admit, I was procrastinating a little bit on our choreography sessions because I was actually doubting my own ability, right? But after connecting with you, Rasheed, on that day, it was just so freaking amazing, right? And I just felt again that surge of confidence and that creative energy coming through again, and I just want to I'm just so looking forward to the concert right now. Yeah. Thank you.
Yay! I love all these expressions of the inner child coming to life.
Yeah.
The excitement and the joy. It's like, yeah, basically what we do as kids, we play. I think as adults, we forget to play because society somehow teaches you need to be an adult. And then the child becomes like put aside, you know?
Squashed.
Yeah. So, Femi and Rasheed, do you have what are your interpretations of how you would describe your shadows? You are muted.
I need to go outside. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I thought
Now
I've
it's
said it
lagging a
before,
little
but I
bit.
need to re-emphasize on it. I see my
Wait,
shadow
you
in
got
two
frozen.
ways. Firstly, when I realized, can you hear me?
Yeah. Now you're back.
Firstly, when I realized I have a shadow following me, so I see my shadow as my guardian angel. It's in two ways because I see my shadow following me, first of all. So when I see it follow me, follows me, the thought that comes to my head is, oh, this thing following me. How do I embrace this thing? So I see my shadow as the next person. Can you hear me? Okay, so I see my shadow as the next person, as my next artist, like you. So like Valencia, you are the next artist looking at me now. I see you as my shadow because I feel when I see you post on Facebook, you are
You're frozen.
doing that. I mean, when I walk,
Wait.
I see my shadow coming. So I see people. Can you hear me?
Wait, Femi. Now you're back, but earlier you were frozen for a while. So I couldn't hear anything after. Yeah, you said something
Where did
about
I stop?
post. You said something about you saw me post,
Yes,
but I
I'm
don't know what you
saying.
saw me post.
Yeah. I'm just using it as an instance. What I'm trying to say is in two ways. I see my shadow as my guardian angel, one. And I see my shadow as the next artist or the next person I'm seeing or the next my competitor or the person I see. Let me use Rasheed as an example, like you as an example. When I see you, when I know you now, and I see you next month, you're posting, you're going to Berlin, you are doing this project and that. Let me go back to see my shadow walking towards me. So I see you as my shadow walking past me or walking towards me. So it pushes me to work more harder. So I see you as a person that is motivating me. So I see my shadow as a person motivating me to work more harder. That's one section. The second section, I see my shadow as the guardian angel in the sense that when I want to make some decisions, when I say, Femi, let me create this. Femi, let me procrastinate and don't do this. So I see the shadow talking to me. You need to do it. It's good, just do it. So I still tell myself I don't want to do. So I see that my guardian angel, and I see it as a thing, as an inspiration that usually push me to work. So I see people there to push me to do some things, to think more, to work more. So I see my shadow as a thing that is pushing me, and I see my shadow as a thing that decides some things to me, as a decision making, and to pushes me to be more creative, to think more, to push myself, and to do so many things. That's all. I can't hear you.
I was just gonna say that like what Farah is saying. I think what I'm finding fascinating is that like Farah, Maynard, and I have spent some time in Singapore. So I guess culturally we are more influenced by Asia. And I find it really cool that both you, Femi and Rasheed, both of you have such a positive approach on what the shadow is, that it's your guide, it's your intuition. Whereas here in like, at least from the Asian culture, it's like, it's this dark thing, this thing you don't want to look at, this thing that you are rejecting about yourself. Like, I find it fascinating how contrasting this approaches. And this reminds me of the conversation
Different thoughts.
in one of our meetings, where Maynard's way of reading tarot cards was completely not effective for you guys, because the way that it will be done in Africa is totally different. And Maynard, maybe you want to touch a bit on that, because I find this episode very fascinating.
Yeah, so in Singapore, we are very corporate style. So if, let's say, we are reading for clients, we have to be very in a sense business minded. So when we do spiritual consultations, we do coaching. So in a style where we like take up the cards and there are some issues with your life, ABC, let's find ways to deal with it. How are you going to go ahead? How are you going to address this issue? So let's say I see that your life have some maybe you're lazy in some sense. So how are we going to address it? How are you going to take charge of your life? What are the ways we can help you to plan, so you have a timetable to stick, and let's have a review in 2 weeks time to see whether you have matching to this timetable, because this is what is coming out in the cards. So in that sense, it's very business, very coaching. Whereas in Africa, when they did Ifa, the Ugu, I think, divinations, they throw the things and they're like, oh, this is what you need to do. It's more dramatic, which in Singapore, if you do that, they'll be like, you are a liar, you're a con. Because in Singapore, we are very judgmental. You have to be like, I see that something wrong with your life. Very bad, very bad. So that's most Singapore consultants that I see. Mine is more coaching business side. The others,
Can I ask a question?
I feel something in you. I'm serious. That's what they do, and I'm like,
yes,
yeah, that's the Singapore side. Yeah, then you were saying.
I was saying I wanted to ask a question. Valencia, when we usually talk, I usually hear some people from some mosques praying.
From Islamic.
From Islamic mosques, from Muslims. Valencia.
Yes.
So have you gone to watch their worship, how they worship? Have you gone there, or how do they worship? Is it dramatic?
I do not actually go to the mosque. It's just opposite my house. I don't worship in general. I consider myself spiritual but not religious. I believe in this idea that the divinity is in all of us. So I don't feel inclined to worship something outside of me. I would rather worship myself and every person I meet, as though all of you are divine. Instead of, oh, this God is divine, it's like something separate from us, so that is that's my answer to your question. Yes, Farah.
Okay, I was laughing because I was actually laughing at myself, because I can answer Rasheed's and Femi's question. Are you guys Muslims?
Rasheed.
No.
Muslim.
Christian.
Right. So it may come to a surprise to a lot of people, but I'm actually Muslim. Okay? And I was born into a Muslim family. My husband's a convert. Okay, so I can give you a little bit more insight into the Islamic community in Singapore. Yeah, the way the men pray in the mosques are it's not dramatic at all. That's your question, right? Was that your question, Femi? Whether it's dramatic? Not really. Yeah. It's all like very organized and very polite. Everybody greets each other. They're very nice.
Orderly.
Yeah, very orderly. Nobody. Sometimes you don't know each other, but because they go to Friday prayers every Friday afternoon, most of the men, they greet each other, never whether they know each other or not, and but it's not dramatic. I would say far from that. Can, yeah, sometimes the speaker, you know, the one who's heading the prayers, sometimes they are they can get a little bit emotional, like, you know, talking about certain issues facing the community. But no, there's not a lot of drama. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
and it's
yeah.
fascinating, right? How different that is being done. And I think when this happened in the meeting, I was reflecting on how, with regards to the tarot card, like if we do it the Singapore way in Africa, they wouldn't trust anything that's being said because they're like, you know, this person is so
Hi
clinical
guys.
and there is no emotional energy. Like, I'm not gonna listen to this guy. But if we do the African way in Singapore, it's the same way. There's too much emotion. I'm not gonna trust this person. And how that cultural difference is subtle but so profound.
But I
In
think it's
many
also
ways.
it's also a lot to do with how in Singapore how we were trained as children in schools, you know, to conform, and how I don't know how they've conformed us in such a way that it's become hard for us to express or even be dramatic in our expression. Where a lot of us are very afraid. You know, if it was a concert, let's say we were watching a beautiful musical concert, a lot of us are actually afraid to stand up and, like, you know, clap and like bravo, like, you know, express joy, and we are very self-conscious. We rather just stay in our seats and just clap, you know,
No,
like the
I
kind of
think
yeah,
to
the kind
add
of
on
simple
to that,
analogy.
even when we are in, let's say, dance classes or even literature back in school, we don't enjoy poetry. We don't read poetry and like, oh, this feels nice. It makes me feel certain things. We look at poetry in a very structured way. Okay, so this is the poem. What stanza? What stanza? You break it down. What words? What is the writer trying to say by the red door? The red door means this thing about passion. And then, like, you don't talk about what the poem makes you feel. It's more like, okay, this word, the writer chose this word twister. Why twister? Or because the feelings are twisted. Okay, so this is the word. You break down the whole poem, you write down all the things, and you write essay about the poem. The poem itself is supposed to give you feelings, give you understanding. No, you break it down. Even for dance techniques, you must turn out this leg, you must do this like that way. It's not like I'm dancing with feelings. It's like I'm dancing because I'm a robot kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's the way that
basically
we are trained in Singapore.
we are told what to feel at a certain time and what things mean. Yeah, it's very hard for us to express in a child and in a expression. Yeah,
Even
so
for
that's why
concerts,
we're
like
like
what
that.
you're saying, the artists that come to Singapore to perform, I watched one Chinese artist that was performing in Singapore. She complained. She's like, oh, people were telling me that Singaporeans are very passive, and I can see that. Most of the concerts I go to overseas, they will stand and celebrate. You are just sitting down. Can I ask you a favor to stand up and try to enjoy my music? And I was just like, oh no, Singaporeans.
Right.
The
Yeah.
only people who will stand up and scream are like the LGBT people. They will be like, "Why?" The rest of them are just like,
Precisely. Yeah. Yeah.
no one stands. No one stands up. Only like some would stand up and dance with them. The rest are like, I don't know why.
Femi and Rasheed, we are probably the more dramatic people in Singapore.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're a
Yeah,
little bit outside the box, but still somewhere near the
Yeah.
box.
yeah. But
Yeah.
if you come to Singapore, you'll see like a more extreme version of, yeah, because like
Don't
I
worry.
feel like ever since I traveled, like the people that I still hang out with are like the hippies of Singapore or something. Like, you know, the ones who are doing like all this dance and yoga. So it's a little bit outside of the cookie cutter shape.
The
But
boss. Yeah.
yeah.
You guys are coming to Singapore, right? You guys are coming
Soon.
to Singapore.
Very soon. Very soon. Yeah. Valencia, don't worry. We need to organize this in Singapore too.
Huh? Organize what?
The Metamorphosis, like live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Live.
someday we're gonna. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
We shall
when
see.
when Singapore lifts the restriction for people coming in, I think we can do something. Because now no one can travel into Singapore.
Yeah.
A mix of live and
Yes.
online performances.
Yeah, that would
Yes.
be
Yes, we
cool.
can definitely do that.
I mean, those in Singapore can meet up like 5 groups of 5 and perform something. The rest will be online,
Yes.
so it's like half.
A
That could be
mixture.
like the
Yes.
next maybe December or like January performance.
Very soon. Sure.
Mm. You're
You are
muted.
What
muted,
can I say?
You're
Vel.
muted.
Huh?
Vel, you're muted.
You're like,
Muted myself. Yeah, I was just gonna say that Rasheed, I know you shared a little bit about what you think of the shadow earlier, like an intuition.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have something different in response to the how you would describe your own shadow, or if it's that the same thing, then we don't have to. Yeah.
Apart from the intuition, for me, I would say, like some months back, I've been doing a lot of collective things with people, and I give it all. Like I do just little of my own, and let's say after the lockdown, or let's say during this lockdown, and I was thinking, you've been doing a lot of things for people, for blah blah blah. I was not just thinking, it is something that is telling me that you're wasting a lot of time on people or with people, while you also have something to do with yourself. So I had to concentrate on myself, and I started digging, and I have found out that in as much as I'm doing a lot of collective things, I should also do mine. So you understand. So in as much as I am doing a lot with people, I should also do mine. I should also do mine too, because it really goes a long way. So after I concentrated on myself, I created like a company, not a full registered company yet, but I'm still in the process. So I called it R2. So Rasheed Ridwan, it's 2R. Then I said R2, like R2. So for me, I'm beginning to focus more on myself now because I'm growing, and I don't have much time with people, a lot of people anymore. I have time with myself more to grow. So that's why.
I like
Yeah.
that, and I feel very like similar in a similar journey. And in a sense, this Metamorfosize has been that for me. Has been me paying attention to myself in a strange way to serve others. Yeah, because before I would be very distracted by other things, by people, by relationships, and things like that. But now I'm being made to I'm being made to sort of focus on this project, which is bigger than just me. But in a way, I needed to actually set aside the time, which is perfect right now. I'm in Indonesia. I literally can just focus on this. I don't have to think about other things that I normally have to think about. Like when I travel, like where do I go next? Where do I stay? What do I buy? And things like this. But right now I can focus on just this. So I felt like, in a way, things aligned to give me the space to do this, and this becomes much bigger than just myself. But yeah, it's like a baby, you know, a baby that's growing. And all of you are part of that baby, you know, and helping it grow. And it wouldn't be possible if it's just me, you know. So that's the beauty of it. So thank you for being a part of it, for being part of this baby, for making it possible. Yeah. So yeah, I think we are coming close to the hour, and I agreed to a few of you that we will keep this more succinct. But before we end, I would just like to give space if anybody has any last comments or questions. And actually, I was curious earlier to ask Rasheed about what you mentioned about receiving information when you are sleeping. Are you talking about dreams, like receiving information in dreams? Is that what you meant?
Um,
I think for that I'm a little bit confused because I as part of my research, I did some research and I found out that there's something they call lucid. You have heard about lucid dream. I've forgotten the rest. I'm sorry, there's a lot of noise here, so but you just have to concentrate on mine. So there's something we call lucid, and I've forgotten the rest. But for me, I think I hear or I listen to some things, or I see. So I see some things whether in my, so I am now confused, is this in my dream or in my reality? Because whenever I hear them or I see them in reality. Like let's say this kind of video call, I'm seeing Valencia and I'm seeing myself, I'll say no, I've seen this kind of thing before. So it's like, do you understand me? So it's like, I won't call it an imagination. It's like like something is telling me or revealing something, like the future tense to me, as me, this is the real Ridwan, and my shadow is showing me things. So my shadow is saying it and is also showing me. So that's it. So I don't know. I asked some of my friends that, because I'm still going to create a piece on that. So I'm asking some of my friends, is this reality or am I seeing it from my dream? Because I don't know the specific time which I'm saying this, but I only know the time where I am saying this in the reality. I don't know when I am receiving, but I know when I am saying it in the reality. Do you understand? So that's it.
It sounds like deja
Can I say
vu. Do
something
you?
to that?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that, like a feeling of deja vu, like you've seen this somewhere before, you know, where did you receive
And you
this
can't
from?
explain.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is
And
called what? What is it called?
deja vu.
Deja
Deja
vu.
vu.
It's a French word that
Deja
literally
vu. I
means
think I
already
need to write
seen.
that.
Yeah, deja is already and vu is
Oh,
seen. So it's a French word. Yeah. Um, and I think it's a phenomenon that a lot of people experience in different degrees. Yeah, but I also don't know if it appeared in a dream or something. But you mentioned lucid dreaming. Do you lucid dream like a
yes.
lot or all the time?
I'm coming because I wrote some things down. Yeah. Wait, I'm writing my notes.
Is it lagging or is it this way? Uh-oh. Rasheed, can you hear us? Ah,
Huh?
okay, you're
So
back.
lucid dream, yes, I'm back. So lucid dream, I not all the time, but sometimes I say it. But my problem, even my normal dream, my problem is that I can't really place it. Like this is where I saw it. This is the time I'm having this dream. But what I really see is that I am seeing this in reality. Do you understand? So that's it for me.
I want to say
Yeah,
something
and
about what
Femi,
you're saying.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I think for the dream aspect, what bothers me every time is that when I thought about, okay, Femi, I need to do something. When I want to sleep, eat.
You're frozen
When I'm
again.
bothered, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're frozen,
I
but I
said,
can hear you.
okay, I'm saying when I thought about creating something, when I want to create, so when I try to sleep at night, I'm usually bothered and I can't sleep. So when that happens to me, I will imagine and see some ideas I want to do. When I imagine it, I can say, no, I don't want this one. I want to sleep again. Femi, sleep. Able to sleep again. I will see another thing. So me, I'm thinking maybe that's what's happening to Ridwan. Me, I don't know what they call it, and I didn't check about it.
Femi, I
Wait, so what I'm saying is that when it comes to me, when I see it, okay, I'll just see something and I'll think like, okay, maybe I don't want this one. I'll still try to sleep again, and I'll still see another thing coming again. So if I see this one and I like this one, I'll keep it and write it. And tomorrow I'll think more about it and it will give more face to it. The other one I want to talk about is about choreography. Me and him, we talked about it before. When I want to choreograph anything, movement, majorly, when I stand, I will close my eyes. I will see movement. Not movement I have seen somewhere. I believe this for me. Not what I've seen somewhere. I'll see a new thing I want to do. I'll just see the movement and I'll try to do it. I may not get it. I may not get what I see step by step, but I'll see something. So when I see, I don't call it vision. I just believe movement. I see movement and I'll do it. I think that's what happened to me.
So Valencia, for me, going back to my lucid dream, I think the deja vu is the one I am unconscious of whenever I'm seeing it, but I am conscious of it whenever I am seeing it in the reality. Whenever I'm having a deja vu, I am unconscious, but whenever I see it in the reality, I am conscious about it. But for the lucid dream, I think I am in control of that, because sometimes we see or we imagine something like like not in the normal realm. We imagine in the spiritual realm, and it happens. So for me, I am aware of the lucid. You understand? So I think I have dominance on that one. I have the control on the lucid. But for the deja vu, I really don't know. It's happened. So for me, the parts where I am gaining or I am receiving is my shadow that is receiving. That is, I am receiving from my shadow, because for me, when I am unconscious, my shadow is conscious. Do you understand that part? So when I am unconscious, my shadow is conscious. Then when I am conscious, my shadow shows me this. That look at what, when you were not here, look at what I was seeing. You understand? So that's the relationship between me and shadow for it.
It's like you take turns. When one of you is sleeping, the other one wakes up.
The other wakes, yes.
Yeah, I like
Like
that interpretation. I like that interpretation.
Your consciousness, I guess, or your consciousness or your higher self receiving energies and messages from the universe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like you both of you, Femi and Rasheed, you're so intuitive and really in touch with yourself and your, spirituality. And I feel like you guys are like on a brink of a higher spiritual awakening and a journey. I'm kind of excited for you. Yeah. I love how you guys are so young, seriously, and you are so in tune with yourselves already, and that's amazing. We don't really see that a lot here, right?
Yeah,
And
in the modern Western
really.
societies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep going with exploring movement and everything, all these things that you're doing. Yeah, it's amazing.
And listening to that voice, which I think in modern Western societies, they condemn that voice. They're like, don't trust it, don't listen to it, think with the logic, think with the rationality, and don't listen to this intuition that you can't even prove, you can't define, which I think is so toxic. And I think listening to you from this totally opposite perspective, where maybe it's more normal or acceptable to listen to the intuition, I think that's the balance that we need to counterbalance this extremely logical way of being, Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, thank you for all these insights. Do you want to say something, Femi, Rasheed, or not?
Just say one last thing.
Yes.
I think over here
you're frozen again.
We work with our egos on it and rebate.
Wait.
I think it works for us.
Again?
And like when we moved out of the academy, which was where we learned how to dance the African dances and whatever we are doing. So we created a piece called Amowo. Amowo means
the performance I sent to you.
Yes,
Valencia.
because the performance meant initiation. So initiation does not mean like you going into a court. So you know sometimes when you are moving from the age of 18, you are going into the adulthood age. You know, so we try to create this piece with a boy going into a manhood, a girl. So we leaving the academy and how to go to the outside world. You understand, to express ourselves as a young boy just coming. So we are becoming a man. You understand. So we created this piece and it went well because even in the festival where we did it, it was like the best. You understand. So and what was the piece again? We created some more like that, but we don't just create. We see or we experience. So whenever we experience, then we create with the experience. We don't just say we want to create this. We have to like experience that thing before we snap into what we are creating.
Mostly we talk about real stories. We use our stories, what's happening around us. We need to talk about it. And the one we did on title series, that one is talking about political issues, religious crises, and our bad roads and lights. So we work with what we see around us and what our intuition, our instincts tell us. Yeah.
You're muted, Val.
You're muted.
Thank you for reminding.
Yes, I'm done. Yes, I'm done. I
Yeah.
said we work with what our instincts tell us.
Yeah, I will talk to you separately outside of this call about the initiation video and probably right after this. But yeah, before we end, yeah, if Farah or Maynard, if you want to add anything before we finish.
Just thank you so much for sharing and letting us getting to know each of you better, like a lot better. Because outside of we don't really get a lot of time outside choreography sessions or meetings to know each other's insights. So this has been really, really wonderful. I was
Yeah.
really exhausted before this meeting, but now I'm wide awake and I love listening to all your stories and your insights. So thank you for sharing.
It
Yeah.
was, for me, it
I
was very
think,
eye-opening.
Mm.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening and it's very intriguing thoughts because it's from another part of the world and we see the contrast very clearly. Uh, like Farah, I was very tired, rushing here and there for the whole day. So like coming back, I'm like, okay, I have to go on this meeting, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know what to expect. This was a surprise, a pleasant surprise that we learned so much. And yeah, I think the contrast is huge between how Singapore or like westernized societies versus the parts of the world where the focus is different. For us, it's all about money, all about logic, all about the material stuff, whereas for them, it's more of like the intangible stuff, the feelings, the intuition, the instincts. And yeah, it's like a lesson for us, I think. So thank you so much for sharing.
yeah, I love this blending of cultures. I think we can learn a lot and balance each other out, and yeah, be integrated and celebrate that diversity. So yeah, oh no, nobody. Yeah, I'm excited to see what exciting works of art will be birthed out of these collaborations in the concerts that are coming up. More details on that will be announced. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm back. Will be announced shortly. And you will get to see more of these people's work in the coming days and weeks. You'll see it on social media. I'll be sharing tons of the awesome things that they're doing and just how varied of a group we are. So yeah, thank you for the time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making it. And yeah, I'm really glad that it happened the way it has. I think it went perfectly. Like Maynard was supposed to be in the earlier session, but I almost think it's perfect that you are in this one. Like and Farah as well, that you ended up being able to make it, even though I was just gonna do a one-on-one with you tomorrow or something. So yeah, I'm very happy that it all turned out perfectly.
Thank you so much, Belle,
Yeah.
for bringing us all
Okay.
together.
Yes.
Thank you,
I like
guys.
it. Yeah. Good
See you guys
night.
Thank
soon.
you.
Una
And
get it with small.
Peace out.